Thank you. Good morning, everybody. 7 o'clock here on a beautiful Saturday morning, August 16th. It's Tee to Green, live on the air here on WGR Sports Radio 550. I'm Brian Koziel, live here at Lancaster Country Club, one of our home clubs. Joining me on site, PGA Pro Jeff Meadis. Kevin Sylvester, part of our Tee to Green team, is at the BMW Championship. We'll bring in Kevin in just one moment, but we are here on the beautiful patio. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. Another beautiful morning. We've had good luck this year. Every Saturday morning's been pretty nice for us.
Yeah, as soon as it turned to like mid-May and we were outside,
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been outside every single week. It's been great weather.
And as we say, it's club championship season. We're here at Lancaster. A lot of buzz around.
Yeah,
Club
what?
championship today.
3 weeks in a row. We've been at sites for club championship. Last week we were at Tri-County. They had the club championship. The week before that, Pendleton Creek club championship. Now we're here at Lancaster.
Yeah, a lot of big time of year for golf, right? We got the U.S. Amateur going on. We got the PGA Tour playoffs going on. We got the Ryder Cup coming up. Yeah, so lots and lots of fun stuff.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, let's bring in Kevin Sylvester, part of our Tee to Green team. He's, of course, working this week for PGA Tour Radio of the BMW Championship. Kevin, good morning.
Morning, and I thought I'd give, my fellow members a break there at Lancaster. I asked to work this week so I could let someone else
win the seat flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Net seat flight champion.
Kev,
hey, that comes with a lot of perks, Jeff.
I understand. Yeah, a trip to a nice golf course somewhere, I think, right? Like Augusta.
You're at a nice spot this week, Kevin, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show for the BMW Championship. But I know you would love to be here playing as well.
Oh yeah. I think if you like to compete, I do in the game. Like, yeah, you want to compete in the club championship. It's just a different thing, right? I mean, hey, there's no gimmies. There's no, you got every shot. And I'll never forget. Many years ago, I was the gross leader in Flight A, Jeff, not C. Flight A. And
many years ago, then.
Yeah, many years ago, yes. And I get to tee off first on the Sunday, the second day of the championship. And Mike Zabel, who we're going to talk to in a second, is like, Mr. Sylvester, you're on the tee. And at the time, the right of hole one was out of bounds. It has since been redefined as a penalty area. But, some nerves, and I just swipe it, OB. And I'm in disbelief, blah, blah, blah. And Mike says, Mr. Sylvester, you're still your turn. I go, I know.
Yes.
And I proceeded another one out of bounds.
That's a fun way to start the day, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
And I thought I was done, but I still had a chance actually. But those sort of things, like it's different. It's just you feel different. The pressure is there, and but it's also fun too.
Absolutely.
And the course is always in the most pristine shape. They always get the course. We're looking at the golf course right now. It looks absolutely perfect, and I'm sure the greens are rolling fast, and that's part of it too. You're playing the golf course in its best conditions.
Yeah. So anyway, you mentioned Mike. Let's bring him in. The general manager, PGA Pro here, Mike Zabel. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you guys?
Do you remember that story, Mike?
Oh, I remember it.
You're giggling as he started telling the story.
I go,
yeah.
Yep, I know this one.
Yeah.
And Kev, you put up a really good round. I think you made somewhere in the 7 to 9 range after hitting a couple out of bounds. But to your credit, you pulled it around and you were still there at the end.
Yes, yeah. I was. It was. It took me a couple holes to get over it, Mike. Yeah. And I might have added a colorful word to I know.
That's something that we've talked about, and Mike and Jeff, I'm sure when you're working with people trying to improve your game, that's something that, whether it's a different, a nervous feeling because it's club championship, or just how to how to get rid of that shot that maybe you are struggling to forget. I mean, the best players in the world are going to hit a bad golf shot because it's it's 18 holes and it's a lot of it's 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 shots per hole. Like, you're going to not hit every shot the way you want to. And that mentality of how do you handle the next shot? That's something I feel like we've talked about quite a bit this year. It's something that the better players know how to handle it better.
Well, I think, and I'm sure, Mike, it's routine, right? Yeah. Then you just get up and you go through your routine and you hit the next shot. It's if you let the previous shot affect how you play the next shot, then you're in trouble.
No, I agree. We try to help a lot of our juniors here with that, because the young teenage players is just, you hit a bad shot, you got like 5 or 6 steps, let the steam out, figure it out, but then you got to be on to the next shot, right? You got like 5 or 6 steps to take, and then you got to be on to the next shot, because if you let, it could affect 2-3 holes down the road. You can't do that. So you really got to be able to, I don't think it's good to hold it in.
No.
You got to let some frustration out, I think. You don't have to be throwing clubs, but I think you got to, you can acknowledge that, oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do, but then you got to move on from it pretty quick.
Right. And then you see people get physically flustered. Like, you can see them start to walk faster, they talk faster,
Yes.
they kind of hurry the next shot, and then they start to lose their confidence or their mojo, and you got to do something to get your it just takes one good swing sometimes to get your confidence back. Hey, Kevin fought back, right? You never know. That's why you don't quit. That's what makes tournament golf fun, right? Because you grind it till the very, very last shot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and even just, whether your goal is to break 100 or to finish at a certain spot in your club championship, like, it can be frustrating because you have this goal in mind and you think that bad shot like takes that away from you, and to be able to recover and have that good attitude about it, it's again, the better players handle it better, and as you can handle it better, you will become a better player because of it.
Well, what does Dr. Rotella say? Can't have expectations. If you have expectations, as soon as you start missing, I expect to par the first hole, or I expect to shoot under 80 today. Well, you can't, because you never know you could hit a perfect shot that ends up poorly, and it changes things around, right? So, if you don't have expectations, you go through the process and you just play as hard as you can and put whatever number is the best number you could put up that day. That's kind of golf to me right there.
Absolutely.
I tell you what's going to be fun. It's going to be fun is to see how things shake out for our club champion this year. I mean, we've got some players. Mike, I mean, you want to tell everybody about our championship flight, the players going for it. I mean, it is going to be a battle, because just so many plus handicap players that we have that are just fantastic to compete against, and every year it's great to watch them come down the stretch.
It is. I mean, on both sides. The last few years, I mean, I'm amped up just talking about it. I can't wait to get out there and start watching the action over the 2 days. But like on our women's side, we have Kathy Aiken. She's going to go for 5 in a row this year.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
So, I know Kathy. Yeah, she's a nice player. She's been a good player for a long time.
Yeah, she's going for 5 in a row. Noelle Barr's in the field. She's a former champion, going to be challenging her. Selk and Pinnell will be hanging around trying to, see if they can make some putts and stay in the game. But on the men's side, Dan Garrigan's going to be going for 3 in a row. And you want to talk about some drama. I mean, he's won in playoffs. Former champ Gary Nowak has 6 of them in 2022. He holed out on 18 for a deuce to get into a playoff.
Oh, wow.
And then he won the playoff. In 2021, Pacillo, who's won 2 of them, he shot 63 in the final round to win.
That's a nice score.
I mean, our Romano's in the field. He's won 4 of them. And to Kevin's point, I mean, we got Luke Stanley. He's a plus. Ambrose is always there. Johnston's having a good year. He's a plus handicap. Dwayne Mohan. I mean, I go down the list. We need
Kevin Sylvester out here this week. Commenting on these games.
We do. We need him following them around because we've got. I looked this morning. We've got 20 guys that are under a 2.0 that are pretty legit. Like, you have some guys that post it and they'll never break 90, right?
Yeah.
But we've got
Hollywood handicaps.
We've got almost 20 guys who can really move the ball. It's a great playing roster, and we got a lot of fun games out here. We do a lot of good stuff. We have a scratch invite coming up at the end of the month that is super competitive. And this is one of the great events that we do here as well. The club championship is.
It's a great.
Mike, don't tell me the scratch invite's super competitive, because I'm playing it.
Good point.
I hope you're bringing a good horse.
Well, I got Peretti, and our goal's not to finish last. How's that?
But there's a nice golf culture here, right? Yeah, there's a very nice culture of golf. Good driving range, good practice area. Yeah, and people come here to play golf, right? That's why it's a good golf course. You love coming to play golf.
They do.
And you've created an atmosphere where people like to come and compete.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, Kevin, you obviously play the course quite a bit over the course of the year here. Like just how about maybe just a thought on the golf side of it and what Jeff's talking about here and the atmosphere that Mike's been able to create and just the golf course itself. It's a quality layout and always in great shape. I mean,
100.
Jeff mentioned it here to start. It's been here over 100 years. Or this is the 100th year this year.
100th year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't been there all 100 years. Neither has Mike, but we've been there for many, and Jeff knows too. Having been there in the past, it is a great place. The culture is awesome. It's for playing competition, and Mike and his staff. There's all sorts of different competitions throughout the year. So I think maybe if you don't like a weekend tournament, there's a kind of a season long cup matches that happen for all different things. Scratch. There's handicap. There's team ones that are scratch and handicap, and they created that scratch invite. Maybe a handful of years ago, could be less than that, and it's another way to compete and even the plus players, right? This is what I love about it. The culture is the plus players welcome those of us who are not plus players in there to compete and weekend games and stuff. And it's just and they're great about it, right? And they help you. Like I've learned a lot playing against those players, the Garrigans, the Pachillos, the Johnstons of the world. To watch them play and just see how they do it and. Just trying to pick up on the better players. And I love playing with better players because I feel like it raises up my game. And then when it comes to the golf course, there's just continued enhancements and improvements. Like I think the 14th hole, the new tee box there is fantastic. It allows us to stretch out some of the teeing grounds. And actually, I think it's a better hole from the back tee when we move it all the way back. Than it is forward. You say, how can we better a longer distance? Just the visual, it's not as intimidating, at least in my opinion. The 9th hole, with the improvement on the back tee there, it's just a breathtaking hole when you get up there in the little cove of the woods where the new blue tee is. And our greens and players who have played it over the last several years have said it from other clubs, like, wow, your greens are unbelievable. And they are. They are pure. They're firm. They roll. And matter of fact, I was playing with Mike Pachillo the other night, one of the contenders for the championship, and we're on the 10th hole. This was in league play, and we were both puzzled by a putt. I'm like, oh, we putted this green 1,000 times, and we're still confused. And I think that's what makes it great too. Like you can think the greens and be fooled still.
Tee to Green live here at Lancaster Country Club, one of our home clubs. Brian Koziel, PGA Pro, Jeff Meadis here. We're on the patio with GM and PGA Pro Mike Szabo, Kevin Sylvester, part of our Tee to Green team on the phone here. He's working the BMW Championship. We'll break down the FedEx Cup playoffs, event 2 of 3 here, a little bit more in our second segment. But while Mike is with us here before he has to go to get some of the duties done for the club championship, let's talk a little bit about just the year. And we've been here, obviously, 2 other times this year, and part of it has been the story of some of the things that is coming back to LCC here and, the recovery and the renovations and all that sort of stuff. But I know you have had some great events here this year, including some weddings that I know if people maybe want to think about it for 2026, a good spot to be.
Yes. Thank you. We're back in the wedding business. We've had 6 booked this year. We've had 5 of them already. We've had some outdoor venues as well with the ceremonies outside. They've been fantastic. We've gotten really lucky with the weather. That's what you need with an outdoor ceremony. Right. So we have the gazebo overlooking the 18th hole. Just a fantastic backdrop. And Jeremy Maxfield and his staff do a great job with the weddings. Great reviews. We've had from 100 people. I almost called them players like it's a golf event. We have had
competitors.
100 people for a wedding, up to over 200 where they do a full facility. So if you have a larger wedding, we do entertain those as well. We only do those limited. You have to hit a certain number, but we can open up the facility for you as well. And we've had 1 or 2 of those this year. And Jeremy and his team, they're already booking 26 and 27. So we don't have a lot of dates available because of club events, your invites, your members. But The available Saturdays or Fridays, I've seen a lot of Friday weddings too. We do have some spots available coming up.
LCCNY.com. Again, LCCNY.com or 716-684-3700. You can ask for Jeremy, you can ask for Mike, and they'll get you going in the right direction. And of course, that would be the same for membership too, Mike. If they want to be a part of some of the fun stuff Kevin has been talking about or yourself has been talking about here, how about membership maybe for the fall? Or is there a way I can even start now if I want to be a member full-time next year?
There is. We have a spring promo and a fall promo. Right now we're into fall, and we make it very easy if you're at another club. Maybe you want to dip your toe in and see what it's all about. Right now we do no dues for the rest of the season. So you come in, enjoy the rest of the season with no dues, and then your commitment would start January 1st for 24 months. So we make it very easy to get in. We had 51 net members join last year. This year we're at 38 already.
It's good.
And once we get to our membership goal of 50 for this year, we'll probably be raising the initiation fees again. So it's a great time to get in. Like if you're thinking about joining and you're like, wait till next year. You can come in now, have a lower initiation fee, not pay dues at all this year, and then hold your spot for next year, because we're getting to a point now where the initiation fee will raise, and for all honesty, we're getting close to being full. So
that's great.
It's great time is now and to move on it, and we can help you out. It's just give us a call, give us an email. We'll share the information. You can come out for a tour, set up a round of golf with one of our board members, somebody on our committee, and check the place out.
And it's 100 years you guys have been around.
100 years. We have our party next Saturday.
Which is wild to me. My grandmother's brother was one of the founding members. That just makes me feel super duper old.
That's awesome.
That's
really cool.
If you want to get, again, some of that membership information, if you're watching on our live stream, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube at T2G Buffalo. I put the website, the phone number up there, again, lccny.com or 684-3700. And, you can get in touch with Mike and he'll set you up in the right direction, whether it's membership or off to other parts of his staff if you want to have an event here or anything like that. All right, let's finish here with just what Mike, what is your excitement here for the club championship? I mean, part of it obviously is you get everybody off the first tee, which everybody kind of try to calm their nerves, give them their best pep talk here. What's the pep talk for the members maybe driving in right now, listening as you want to give them your best advice for the club championship today?
I would say treat it like your normal Saturday round.
Except pull everything out.
Except pull everything out. Yes, that's the reminder on the first tee. That's the reminder. Remember, you got to put the ball in the bottom of the hole. And then when Scotty will be calling off the names, and it's funny, everything is normal until you hear your name called. Next on the tee, and then you can see the handshake, then a couple extra breaths, and it's like.
But that's what makes it fun.
It does.
That's why you're here.
It amps it up. It gets you that feeling that you don't have with your normal Saturday game. So
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
And you say it all the time. We've said it 2 weeks in a row. We'll say it 3 weeks in a row. If you have that little extra feeling, whether it's nerves, excitement, both, that means you're playing something special. That's good.
Yeah, it means it's important. Yeah, and that's why you practice, right? And that's why you play, and that's why you chip and putt, and that's why you try to get better, so you can enjoy a day. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the competing, like Kevin was talking about. It's just fun to compete.
No, it is, and like you guys said earlier, and give a hats off to our maintenance crew. Like with this heat, 90 degrees for like the last 3 weeks,
just 3 months.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah,
he's been doing a great job. We've kept our height of cut just a little higher. Which some guys enjoy from the fairways because you get a little extra fluff, but it's not like an inch or anything. It's like we're talking about hundredths of an inch. It might be higher. You can't even tell really, but he's done a great job keeping the course together with all the heat, and the rough is down. When we don't have the irrigation, the rough is down. So
nobody's cutting their own lawns, and it looks beautiful. I mean, the crispy leaves are already starting to fall because it's been such a dry summer. Yeah, it is nice day to play golf.
It's going to be great. I can't wait for the weekend.
Yep.
Okay, Mike, I know you've got a lot of busy duties this morning. We will let you go. LCCNY.com, 716-684-3700 for membership information, event information, if you want to get in on that fall membership promo for next year. Thank you, Mike. Good luck today.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And thanks for your support of the show, as always.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
We love being here. One of our home clubs, Mike Szabo, GM and PGA Pro. If you've got a thought about being a member and you're anywhere near the Lancaster area, this is a great spot to be. Jeff, you have been here before. You love the golf course.
I do.
It's a really, really good spot.
I do love the golf course. It's a very challenging, fun, good golf course. Yeah, and it's pretty too. That's the other thing. You feel like there's no houses around. You know what I mean? It's a walk in the woods out here. You go around the creek a couple times. It's beautiful. It's a fun place to play.
I would agree. Okay, time out here from Lancaster. When we come back, we'll break down the FedEx Cup playoffs. Kevin Sylvester's going to stay with us here. He's working hard this week for PGA Tour Radio, and we will go ahead and break down what's happening. Event 2, they're down to the final 50. That'll be next here as we roll on. From Lancaster Country Club, big thanks again to Mike Szabo. For PGA Pro Jeff Meadis, Brian Koziel, Kevin Sylvester. We're back, Tee to Green, right here on WGR right after this timeout. All right, Evan. We'll do the PGA Tour leaderboard liner here, a little bit different order than normal. And if you have any bite, you can play it. If you don't, it's not the end of the world either. Don't worry about it. We got Kevin there, so okay. Yeah, we'll come back with a leaderboard. Thank you. Welcome back, Tee to Green, live on the air here on WGR Sports Radio 550 and our live streams. Make sure you're watching us on YouTube or on X or on Instagram at T2G Buffalo. The BMW Championship in Owen Mills, Maryland, where Kevin Sylvester is. Beautiful Caves Valley. Robert McIntyre with a really strong finish in round one, kept it going yesterday and has a 5-shot lead. Big lead for the Scotsman. He's at 14 under par. World number one, Scotty Scheffler. No shock. He's involved again. He's in solo second at -9. That'll be the final group today with McIntyre and Scheffler. Ludwig Oberg is 6 back. He's solo third at -8. Hideki Matsuyama -7. Tommy Fleetwood, who had heartbreak last week. We'll talk about that here in a moment. He's at -6, and down to a couple of other big names. Rory McIlroy he's in 11th at -4. Ricky Fowler, who's trying to get into the top 30, involved with a pretty good week again here. He's tied for 12th at -3.
And your Champions Tour report is brought to you by Donald Ross Sportswear, your hometown premium golf apparel company. Find us in your local pro shop or online at donaldross.com. This week's event is at Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club, the Rogers Charity Classic. Currently, the leaders tied at first are Stephen Alker and Miguel Angel Jimenez, followed at 6 under by Shane Birch and Tommy Two Gloves Gainey.
All right, our LPGA report brought to you by Puma Golf Shoes, which I'm loving wearing here throughout my summer rounds. The Standard Portland Classic this week in Portland, Oregon, and through 2 rounds right now. On the top of the leaderboard, Zhengzhu Li is your leader. She is at 12 under par. A couple of other players at 11 under. Gurleen Kaur and Grace Kim. Those are the reports on the LPGA. We'll talk about the U.S. Men's Amateur in this segment here as well, but let's bring Kevin Sylvester back in here. Kevin is at Caves Valley. Kevin, this course, we know we talked about it last week, had some good drama when it held the playoffs a few years ago with that DeChambeau Cantley memorable playoff. Just watching the first 2 days, I'm having memories of it. It looks really, really good. This course is a gem, I think.
Oh, it is. It's what a property. I mean, it is a big ballpark, as we like to say,
yeah.
On the PGA Tour. And yesterday I was on. Walking up 18 again, and I can't believe that. I was thinking back to that playoff and wondering how the hell did I run down that hill to 17, back up to 18, down the hill, back up. I mean, it is a hike. It might be the hardest walk. Caddies have said that in the past. Like, it's a tougher walk than Kapalua on Maui, and I believe it, man. It's just some steep climbs from the greens to the tee boxes, and that 18th, it's just straight up the hill, and then that's part of it. The fatigue towards ends of rounds, and that's why these players are just in such tremendous shape physically to prepare themselves for rounds like this, where they have to walk, especially in this heat and humidity. I mean, it was so humid out there yesterday. It was you could feel the beads of sweat running down your arm and your legs. It was that warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fantastic venue, which, by the way, they redid a lot of it. They added 1,500 yards after the tournament 2021. They lengthened some of the holes. They redid all the greens.
Because it wasn't hard enough, huh?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, Cantley was 2,700. Was the playoff.
So they wanted again, a little, yeah. But,
some players, I won't mention names, I talked to Wednesday in the practice run, said they made it too hard. Like the rough, they stopped cutting at 4 inches, and there have really been some penal things and distance. Like, for example, the 13th hole, par 3, I played 237 yesterday, and the green is now tilted severely right to left and back to front, right? So it's just this big slope to play it down. And from that distance, I mean, even though these guys are the best in the world, it's tough to put it in a position where to make birdies. And the result is there were 3 birdies each day on the 13th hole, par 3. Out of 50 players, only 3 made birdie each day. 17 also difficult. There are a few birdies. And so there's some holes maybe that they this is just my opinion, have gone to an extreme with too much distance, and then they've made it a par 70 for the tournament, not a par 72. It was a par 72 in the past.
And I think sometimes there is overreaction to that. Like, I remember this course from the epic duel of that playoff and how great it played out, and the shots that they were hitting were just phenomenal back and forth. I didn't once think of the minus 27 that you just brought up, Kevin. So I guess with that being said, like,
People love watching birdies.
I don't think it, I understand it's for the US Open, fine. But like, if there's an event that ends up happening, I don't think it's the end of the world, because look at, I remember this from, what was it, 4 years ago? Is that when it was? Like, I mean, I'm remembering that. I mean, I don't know how many just random playoffs from 4 years ago would I remember on the PGA Tour, but I remember that. And a big reason why was because they just kept hitting amazing shot after amazing shot, and there were birdies made by both players to keep that drama going. So, not every course always has to be, I agree with you. Like, you don't always have to maximize every length and make every pin position the hardest or design it to be as tough as possible. I know that's maybe what the trend is, but I remember it for it being awesome and fun and exciting, and maybe a piece of it was that it was accessible so that we saw those amazing shots.
Well, I'll look at, the other holes, fine, right? If you want to lengthen par fours, I mean, the players figure it out. I mean, I think these guys are amazing. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too. You put the best players in the world on a golf course, and they're going to figure it out over a couple of days, on how to play it and how to take advantage of it and score. And they do it everywhere, pretty much. But I'll just look at the par threes. I think the par threes you should have to hit a different club at every par three on a golf course. That's just my opinion, the way it was set up. And I don't like any of them over, let's say, if it's over 215 yards, no thank you. All right. I don't what we saw it at Oakmont, the U.S. Open, 290 yards, 300 yard par three. No. Fans don't want to see that, and players, even though they're good, they don't want to play that. So that's just my opinion. Now, some of the length here that they played downhill, so you're like 17 if it's tipped out of 245. It doesn't play 245. It plays minus 15, so it plays less, and players are hitting irons into it, but they're not firing at the pit because they've added some water. They've enlarged the water features. I did talk to a member on Wednesday and asked the thought about it. He's like, "Oh, it's visually stunning." I said, "It certainly is. I mean, they've added the white sand bunkers, higher faces." He goes, "But there are a few greens that are," he goes, that we're not fans of, like number 5, drivable par 4. And I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing the golf course, because it is a fabulous place, and I'll play there in a heartbeat. Right?
Yep.
So, but it's just, it for the pros, like, you can't drive it because the green will not hold, and if you're off the green left, you're dead. And coming downhill, that's a high possibility, and the green's too narrow to hold, so you have to come in there with a wedge, which they are. They're attacking, they're birdieing the hole coming in with a wedge. But I just think if you're going to have a risk reward hole, let the risk be rewarded. And it's too penal. Guys are trying to practice around and like, well, we can't do that. That's just too penal to go for it.
Yeah, Kevin, I wanted
those are tweaks. Don't tweak those things, Brian. They will fix that.
Yeah, I wanted your opinion on kind of maybe what the media circle this week has been talking about with Tommy Fleetwood. Last week, Jeff, just a heartbreaker. I mean, we were
tough to watch.
That big lead going into the weekend. He still has a chance to win and just can't get it done last week. Go ahead, if you want to go first.
Yeah, it's definitely in his head. I mean, obviously, it's in his head right now. The guy's a fine enough player to have won, and he's had multiple chances to close the deal. He just can't seem to do it. I feel like once he does, he might win a whole bunch more. But playing great right now. Like to see him play well. We're gonna see him in the Ryder Cup. Something like that might get him going in the right direction. Not that he's in the wrong direction. He just can't close.
And he's tied for 5th this week. So clearly, Kevin,
they're all good players.
He's still in a good mindset this week, and high class as always seems to spin it in the right way. But Kevin, I'm sure you were feeling for him last week too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my job's to be impartial, out here, but would I like to see him win? Yes. He's just always accommodating. As you said, he's classy, like, the Travelers, which, I just, you want to talk about bad break Tommy, right? Like, you look at some of his near misses on wins, the Canadian Open at Royal Oakdale, right? Nick Taylor just makes a 70-foot eagle putt. I mean, come on, right? And then the Travelers, Weather puts Keegan Bradley in the final group with him, where the day before everybody's going, Tommy, Tommy, and those same people are like, USA, USA. Keegan Bradley just like the force of nature is just not in favor of him, right? The gods weren't with him in those situations. But I will say this. In those two instances, and I'm using those two in particular because I was there inside the ropes on the ground, I don't think he did himself any favors. He laid up on 18 on the 72nd hole at Royal Oakdale instead of playing it aggressively. On 18 at the Travelers, he and listen, multiple tour players who competed that our announcers now have told me this, like, you put that past the flag on the green at the 18th hole at the Travelers Championship. You don't ever risk it being short because you got the bunker or you got this little awkward chip runner. And he went with the pitching wedge, which had the risk of being short, which it was. So he playing conservatively, I think, has cost him. Now and maybe that cost him last week too.
He's won all over. I mean, it's just here. He's won in Europe, and he's a very fine player.
He's had a great Ryder Cup record, and so.
Well, listen though, let's be honest. The fields are deeper here. Okay.
True. Yep. That's like winning on Live doesn't count to me. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but I give the European Tour a little more credence, but that's you're right. This is the best tour in the world where the best players in the world are, and they're all really good and they all really want to win. So you got to have some breaks and you got to play really well. It's just how it works.
Yeah. Kevin, how about the top pairing today? 145 McIntyre. Just the putting display this week's been tremendous. He's got a 5-shot lead on, of course, Scotty Scheffler, who's there once again.
Yeah, it's I've been with Scotty, like I'm playing with him.
Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And he dusted me. All right.
Yeah.
After the round yesterday, which it's interesting. I'm trying to think, what do I ask Scotty Scheffler? Like, hey, you're good. Hey, you played great again.
Right.
Some of these things, but it wasn't a perfect round, and that was interesting with Scheffler. He only missed a couple of greens, right? I mean, he was his ball striking was great, and he scrambled to save par. Was at 15. He just missed it to the right, and then he was into the bunker at 17, firing at the flag, and almost hold out the bunker shot because he's Scotty Scheffler. But it was interesting on the 18th hole. He was in the left rough and it scooted all the way to the back of the green. The hole was in the front, and this thing is pitched back to front severely, but there's a ridge there, right? Separates the two sections of the green. He actually considered chipping, and he's got Mike Cromie on the bag this week. Ted Scott's dealing with a family issue, so Ted Scott's not here. But and it was the only time that he really brought Cromie in to read a putt, help him read this thing, and he needed a 2-putt to be in that final group with McIntyre, which I think matters to put pressure on Bob McIntyre.
Yeah.
And Scotty made an incredible putt. His back was to the hole. One of those you put it to the fringe like the Jeff Metis drill. They get the speed of the greens, put it to the fringe there, and he put it to 4 feet and made the putt. But this is a typical Scotty to me. Hey, he goes out, shoots 4 under, 5 under, and he's in the mix. And I think by the end of the day, he'll probably be 1 or 2 back.
Yeah.
It's just Scotty Scheffler the way he'll go out and shoot 5 under again today. And for McIntyre to keep it up, he'd have to be Cantlay-like, and we'll see. I mean, certainly possible. There's some shots you have to run the ball. He hits that piercing ball flight, and that matters here at Caves Valley.
Yeah, and Kevin, before we let you go here, let's hope we get another great finish like we did last week, where Rose and Spawn. I know we mentioned the Fleetwood heartbreak, but Rose and Spawn put on another show. I mean, we just mentioned Cantlay versus DeChambeau at this course, Caves Valley. Last week, Rose and Spawn just tremendous. And again, similar to Cantlay and DeChambeau. One guy would hit a shot, and you're like, oh, he's got it. And then the next guy would hit a shot, and be like, oh, he's right back in it. And they kept making putts. It was really, really fun.
Well, there's a saying in life: a high tide raises all boats, and I think that's kind of the case when we've seen these playoffs. Like, hey, one guy does it. Hey, you've got to make it, and these are high achievers, and they see a line and they played a hole several times. They know what it does, and they hit their spot. And if it misses, it's not by much, and that's what makes it exciting. And the drama that the PGA Tour has provided is why ratings have been up this year, and it's why things don't work out in the rival league. There, they don't have the drama that the PGA Tour does.
Hey, Kev, real quick, just this week we're at 50. Just kind of set the scene here for everybody and just how it finishes out here with 1 week to go.
Well, it's the top 30 are going to advance to the Tour Championship, and it's different this year. Everybody's starting on equal footing next week at the Tour Championship for the FedEx Cup. So, the feedback has been given, and I think it's great because if you make it, they're making like a true playoff. You make it to that event, you're there, you got a chance to win. And, there's been some talk should they do it that way with all the playoff events, where, hey, the top 70, you got to finish in the top 50 players. So the guys who finish 51 through 70, you're out, and kind of the same. And we'll see if that transpires. But I think it's going to be exciting next week where everybody's on equal footing. So if Ricky Fowler works his way in, he's got a chance to win the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup. So I think that's worked out. And real quick on Rory, he's 400. I look for him to have a big day today. Like he's kind of figured some things out yesterday. Round one, he looked like a guy who didn't play in a couple weeks, and was trying to work some kinks out. And we'll see if he can put himself in contention today.
All right, Kevin, we'll be listening. Enjoy the golf course, enjoy the walk, and we'll see you next week here.
Yeah, it's a great watch.
My legs aren't enjoying the walk, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it does look like it's hilly.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. See ya.
Awesome. Thanks. Kevin Sylvester with us here as we broadcast live from Lancaster Country Club, where Kevin is a member, one of our home clubs here. We're on the beautiful patio. When we come back, we talk about the other big event this week, the U.S. Men's Amateur going on here.
Another great event to watch.
Yeah, they're down to the Final Four there. We'll also get Jeff's Western New York PGA tip of the week. So we still got a lot of good content here to get to. Tee to Green, live at Lancaster Country Club. Thanks to Kevin Sylvester. He had to go. We're going to get him off to his duties for PGA Tour Radio. If you want membership information or you want to hold an event here at beautiful Lancaster Country Club, lccny.com, lccny.com, or 716-684-3700. Along with PGA Pro Jeff Meadis, I'm Brian Colziel, Evan DePasquale, producing back at our Amherst studios. Tee to Green. We're live on our streams, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at T2G Buffalo, and of course, right here on WGR. And if you could come back with the tip of the week liner, that would be great. Thank you.
I may not be able to talk 5 minutes about fairway bunkers.
Less. Thank you. Welcome back to Lancaster Country Club. It's Tee to Green on the air here on WGR Sports Radio 550. Brian Koziel, PGA Pro Jeff Meadis. Thanks to Kevin Sylvester, part of our Tee to Green team, for joining us live from the BMW Championship. But it is time now for our tip of the week. Got a lot of local golf to talk about here in a moment. But first, our tip of the week. Jeff, this week we're going to talk about bunker play from the fairway.
Yes.
All right. So I hit my tee shot. I'm into the fairway. And now I've got to obviously get out. Should I be instantly thinking, take the club that gets me to the green, or what should be my thought process?
Well, first of all, you got to assess the lie,
Okay.
right? And the first and most important thing you have to do is clear the lip. So without clearing the lip,
That's something you got to assess too, then, right?
right. Yeah, you got to assess the lie. Assess if you can clear the lip. That's the most important thing. The ball does come out a little bit spinnier sometimes from those fairway bunkers, so that's something to be cognizant of. I like to take a little extra club's head. It's easy for me to clear the lips. Say instead of a 7, I'll take a 6.
Can I interrupt you real quick? When you say spin a little more, if I fade the ball, it'll fade more. If I draw the ball, it'll draw more. Or
It'll tend to fade more.
It'll tend to
I
fade
would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I find it harder to draw the ball from a fairway bunker.
Okay.
You have to pick it really clean. You have to be. Yeah, that's a tough move for me personally. I know some players are able to do that. So typically with the fairway bunker, what we're going to do, so the most important thing, you got to clear the lip. You got to make solid contact. Got to hit the ball before you hit the sand. So, and these clubs, your 6 and 7s don't have bounce, so they're gonna, or as much bounce, so they're gonna want to dig into that sand. So typically what we'll do is we'll get a nice wide stance, a real solid base. And I see people dig their feet in too much sometimes. You don't need to dig your feet into, because you're lowering your feet, and this is typically where you hit the ground, you're lowering them below the level of the golf ball. So now the ball's above your feet.
I should dig in a little bit more on a green side bunker then?
People mostly do. Yeah, you don't need to dig in too much all the time. You're just digging in for stability, really.
Gotcha.
But what I do is I dig the insides of my feet in a tiny bit to build myself a little stance. You can't technically build stance, but in a fairway bunker, you can build yourself a little stance. I'm going to move it back in my stance, and I'm going to choke up a 1/2 inch. Everything I'm doing is trying to make sure I hit that ball first. Then I want a real shallow cut at the golf ball. I don't want my club coming in steep or down where I would take a big divot. I'm going to take a really skinny divot and focus on a very aggressive move through the ball with a stable lower body. You can't have your legs sliding out from underneath you. Everything you're doing is trying to make sure you hit the ball first, and then you hit the sand with a little bit of a shallow shot and have some zip. You got to have some speed because you're trying to carry the lip, and you still need to get the ball up in the air. So back a little bit in your stance, choke up, dig the insides of your feet a little bit, maybe a little wider stance, a more of a solid base for most people, and then a nice wide backswing and let it rip. Try to come in shallow and catch it right in the center of the blade.
All right, you say choke up. So if I'm at a distance where I would be normally hitting a 7, should I hit a 6?
That's what I do, and then I choke up, and that makes it almost like a 7. And it also makes it a little easier to not hit the sand first because I've got a slightly shorter club. So all those things help me not hit that sand first, and then make sure you're coming in as shallow as you can.
Okay, good advice there from Jeff.
Yeah, and go practice it. How many times have people practiced fairway bunkers? So if you're out there by yourself on the golf course, throw 2, 3, 4 in the bunker and try to hit a few. And the other thing is, don't go too low on a club, like a 3-iron, unless you're creating a lot of speed. And experiment. Sometimes people have success with a hybrid or a fairway wood. Fairway woods are a little tougher, but if you have a 7 wood or something like that, that might be a good weapon for you to get out of there, or find a club that you're comfortable getting out with, so you can, every time you're in the fairway bunker, you can just rip that club.
Yeah. And to follow up on Jeff's initial thought about the lip too, if you feel like you have to take a club, that maybe doesn't get you all the way to the green, it's still better to clear it and be 30 yards short than to hit the lip and maybe be in it again or be in the rough right in front of it and then still have
or buried in the lip. That is about one of the worst feelings in
Yes.
golf is you just try to rip a fairway bunker and you just plug the lip and it's either plugged in the lip or comes right back in your footprints. Yeah. So clearing the lip is more important. You want to keep yourself in the hole.
Right.
You're being penalized for hitting it where you shouldn't have. So if you got a good chance, take advantage of it. I remember, watching Tiger there at the Canadian Open. Still one of the greatest golf shots I've ever seen. But that's
in the lure of Tiger, top shots ever. That's in the discussion for his number one, I think.
That would be up there. One of the hardest shots I've ever seen. I couldn't even visualize that shot. So, but watch. Yeah, these simple little things will help you hit it. And just once you get a little confidence, it's really not that hard of a shot.
Good tip of the week from Jeff, our Western New York PGA tip of the week, brought to you by the Western New York PGA, which has one goal: promoting and growing the game of golf today, tomorrow, and beyond. If you want to get your son or daughter involved in the game, if you want to get yourself a lesson from a local PGA pro, go to wnypga.com. You can even type in your zip code to find the PGA pro nearest you. Or, of course, you can always go see Jeff at Golf Dojo.
Yep, we've been busy teaching. We love teaching. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to make people better.
Yeah, if they want to just get a lesson from you, Jeff, they could just send you an email, right?
Yeah.
What's the email?
Jeff@mygolfdojo.com.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Tiger, and every time as we transition to this week's U.S. Men's Amateur, every time I think about the Men's Amateur, I feel like my first memories of watching it when I was younger was Tiger.
Yep.
And,
the loose clothes.
With the huge baggy clothes, the big straw hat and everything. Right. Again, a stat that was going, on the golf viral this week, social media, of what Tiger did just throughout the amateurs. This 6-year span of what Tiger did, so incredible. 1991, the junior amateur champion. 1992, the junior amateur champion. 1993, the junior amateur champion. 1994, the U.S. amateur men's champion. 1995, the U.S. Open or the U.S. amateur men's champion. 1996, the U.S. amateur.
Then he turned pro.
And then he turned pro. And then in 1997, he lit up the Masters and set records and won his first green jacket. So that was a pretty good span there run by Tiger.
Yeah. and still the most impressive golfer ever, the best to ever play the game. And we talk about it when we go to the Porter Cup every year. That's when you watch U.S. Amateur, you see these players, you're going to see them on the tour. Well, these players in the U.S. Amateur, if you look at the list, these guys are going to be on tour too. Anthony Delasante got to compete this week. Unfortunately, missed the cut by a shot.
I know.
What a bummer.
I actually talked with Anthony this week, and disappointed he missed it by one. He was trying to get into a playoff. The playoff was 20 players for 17 spots.
How do you manage that as a staff? Yeah,
that's wild. But we're down to the final four now at the U.S. Amateur. 3 Americans and a Scot. The Scot, Niall Shields Donegan, will take on Jackson Harrington. That is at 11 a.m. this morning. So you can watch that. Golf Channel, NBC all this weekend. And then Mason Howell will take on Eric Lee. That's at 11:20. So if you want to watch the U.S. Amateur, and here's why you should also watch it beyond it being good, it's at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. So that's gorgeous television. There were some big names that just got bounced in the quarterfinals. Miles Russell, the high schooler who's committed to go to Florida State, one of the top amateur young players rising up through the ranks. He lost to Eric Lee on the 18th. Lee, a really good player from Oklahoma State, who actually had the clinching putt to help Oklahoma State win the team title earlier this year. And then Mason Howell knocked out John Daly's kid, little John.
Who's having a nice
Who's having a really, really good year. We saw John Daly the last 2 years at the Porter Cup, and it seems like Big John has got to be proud of how his son has been playing lately.
Yeah, his son seems to have found his groove. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's, again, 11 and 11:20, the semifinals, and then tomorrow will be the finals. Again,
36 holes, right?
Yes.
36 holes is cool for the match play final, too. So that's, 1 or 2 holes doesn't take you out of it. Big momentum swings when there's 36 holes in match play.
Absolutely. And we mentioned the LPGA event earlier and want to tie in a local player. The Standard Portland Classic this week going on. Melanie Green, local player from Medina, is not having such a great year on the Epson Tour. She's in this event this week, tied for 39th. She'll tee off at 10:50. She's -4, but she's had a very, very good season. In fact, just, that fact that She's currently #1 in the Epsom Tour in both money and points. It's essentially the Corn Ferry
So
Tour
she's graduated to the women's tour because of that.
to the LPGA. Yeah.
Mhm.
So because she played in the Monday qualifier and now she's in. So she shot 64 in that Monday qualifier to get into this event. And now look, she's made the cut, tied for 39th.
And didn't she win the British Women's Amateur?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really good summer.
So she's had a really, really nice year. But because of her status this year, now she's clinched a spot on the LPGA.
There's something up
next
in
year.
up in the water up there in Niagara County. They're producing some really nice golfers lately.
Yeah, so congratulations to Melanie Green. Good luck this weekend. Speaking of Niagara County, 2 more Niagara County players, 2 junior players I want to mention. This week was the New York State U14 Championship, and the girls champion, Natalie Wasik from Lockport Country Club. Natalie's played really, really well.
I heard about her.
She won it this week, so congratulations to her. And also another Lockport player who plays, I know, for Starpoint varsity team, Braden Lee, finished as the runner-up on the boys' side of the.
And Anthony won the men's am.
And Anthony, of course, won the
Anthony Del Sante
won the men's New York State Amateur Tournament here. So Western New York representing very well. I know you're proud that there's some Niagara County excitement
I'm up in Niagara
here.
County now.
Yeah.
I got to say it like that, Niagara County. Yeah.
Francisco Cup, by the way, won the boys. He's a really good player out of Saratoga. But Braden Lee and Natalie Wasik, good job.
I've been hearing about Natalie for a few years. When we were there the other day, the head professional was just raving about her game. Yes, very fine player.
Yeah, a lot of good junior players here in Western New York. You know, we love talking about junior golf, and that's
the
some
PGA
more evidence of it there.
PGA West New York Junior Tour just wrapped up. They had just,
Yes,
that's over for the season. So it's that time of year now. We get into the club championships.
that's right. And there's one here today at Lancaster for sure. Yeah. So this week on the Pro Tour, on the PGA Tour, on the men's side, it's going from 50 down to 30. So just as exciting as it is to watch the top of the leaderboard, I thought NBC did a good job this week. They also had like another secondary leaderboard last week of showing like who was getting into the top 50. They showed like 45 through 54 kind of thing. And I would assume they'll have it again here this weekend to show who's going to be in that top 30.
It does make it more interesting. It's like reminiscent of watching Q School. It's not who wins Q School. It's who gets that last card at Q School.
And as Kevin mentioned, there's not even the staggered scoring. It's all reset. So if you're 30, you got a just good of a chance as #1 next week.
Yeah. And if you're playing that good, you've got a good chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap things up here from Lancaster Country Club. I want to thank General Manager and Head PGA Pro Mike Szabo for his work here setting us all up. The warm welcome as always and their support of the show. If you want membership information or have an event here at the beautiful clubhouse, lccny.com, lccny.com, or 716-684-3700. Thank you, Jeff. Have a good weekend.
Great weekend to play golf because there'll be aerating greens before you know it. Let's get out there and enjoy the weekend.
Absolutely. So if you're playing this weekend, have a great round. Good luck to everybody at the club championship here at Lancaster as we wrap things up here from Lancaster. Thanks to Kevin Sylvester, of course, Jeff Blank, part of our team who gives us all of our social media content all throughout the week. Evan DePasquale producing back in our Amherst studios. Thank you, Evan. And for PGA Pro Jeff Menas, I'm Brian Koziel. Thanks for watching us on our live stream at T2G Buffalo and, of course, right here on WGR.